bot or being. The transition from natural being to virtual bot is happening, has been happening, has happened. And in too many cases, individuals duped by the system are unaware of their own unawareness. But how? And why? Well, the answer might surprise you. Let's just say it starts with the initials P and C, like PC, as in power and care. Individuals that have gained monetary power are not satisfied with serving as what some might call elite and others might classify as the 1%. You see, monetary power is not enough. They want power over you. They want power over me. But as a natural being, I can sense and I can see, as in many other natural beings, that it's not going to happen. Because in this life, as we were birthed into it, with the first breath we took until the last breath we take, we were given free will. And natural beings understand that. And even if they get off track, they find their way back to the path because that does not feel natural to them. It doesn't jive and doesn't resonate, but for so long. But unfortunately, both family and friend have slid into this category, this allegory, this slumber called B.O.T. Beings off track. Human beings off track systemically. Human beings off track strategically. It's so difficult to even bring this message forward because as you listen to my voice right now, you're asking yourself, self-talk, would I fall under that of a natural being? Or do I find myself thinking and wishing and wanting to classify myself as a natural being, but I've slid into a slumber? I'm walking while asleep, and I've actually become a human bot. I can't survive without my phone. I can't stay off social media. I can't turn off the news. I can't put down the textbook. That was a classic case of checkmate. It went from checking our papers to checkmate. Because what you learned in school was how to remember. What you learned in school was proper and ideal ways of responding. Was that education or was that indoctrination? You don't have to answer that question. And I don't have to tell you what I believe or think it is. Because what I know for myself is if it didn't feel natural, as a natural being with free will, given with my first breath until my last breath, I knew this doesn't feel natural. This doesn't feel right. I'm only citing the sources of men and women who I could not see, nor did I ever meet, to clarify for myself if they had my best interest, if they had my fellow man or fellow woman's best interest. But I was taught to look up to them and revere them and remember their actions and their deeds. But with closer research and having to research myself, much deeper than the classroom took me, a little further and around a little more corners of classified content. I found a lot of these individuals had participated and partook in some very sketchy activity, but yet we move them about on a daily basis with the coins we pass over the counter, with the dollar bills we count, as we look to assimilate up the artificial pyramid on the back of our dollar bill. Bot or being. Bot or being. Because right now, I feel that we're being lured to sleep by individuals, one of which is known for the PC and the chip inside of the PC, and the other is known for the apple. Think Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit. Think about what these two devices that require household power to gain access to a net that has captured our attention like fish and is quantified and manipulated who we care about, who we care to communicate with, what we value, what we care about. Power and care. PC. Bot or being. Natural beings can see that they're trying to lure us. And as we resist that pull, as we resist the manipulation, it hurts us to our soul. It breaks our heart as we see family and friend that are not waking up, that don't respond to messages, don't respond to videos that are being scrubbed from the internet right now. All these social platforms that were for the people, by the people, to communicate, to connect, have disconnected us. We leave work, we leave school, we separate, we go home to our separate rooms, to our separate devices, into our separate playlists, into our separate groups, into our separate profiles, just to reconnect digitally. Bot or being. Quarantine. 03/15/2020. 6 feet. Could this have happened on a 3D platform? Ask yourself. Could this have happened on a 3D platform? The common connection with your fellow family or friend that used to be a natural connection is now nearly 75 to 100% of the time digital, video conferencing, isolation, the disruption of breath, the stripping away of the smile, the muzzling of the free will and the free man and the free woman in the land of the free and the home of the brave, where you're realizing that freedom isn't free. You're realizing that politics is really politricks and originates from the Greek word poly, meaning multiple, as in multiple agendas. A dragon with multiple heads. Whether you look back into ancient text, biblical text, prophecy, it's all coming to a head. You see, you think that's history, but that's his version of the story. You might think that's history, but that's his version of the story. All of this stuff has been made up. Time, does it exist? Or were you just taught that it does? So what is the past? What is the present? What is the future? You've only existed in the now. You have only existed in the right now. You can hang on to an old now, a past now. You can look forward to tomorrow. But when it arrives, it'll be right now. It'll be another today. But in this moment, many bots are crippled with fear. Many bots have given up their freedom. Many bots have covered their mouths. Something that is very, very, very unnatural. But it didn't even seem unnatural because you're unaware of your unawareness. By now, some of you have turned this video off. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't feel quite right. But isn't it strange that when the truth comes at you, straight from the heart, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel quite right. But those reading off teleprompters across the nation, the same lie, just a different channel, just a different station, just a different individual, all made up under the lights. Look at what's really going on. Look at how they got you. Look at how they dupe you. Look at what they offer you when they want you distracted, when they want chaos on the street. White officer, black man down. As if that's a new story. You think it's about black and white? You need to go back and research when they introduced black and white as racial category in this country, in this world. You see, the polarity is what they're really dealing with. It was created to divide and to conquer. As above, so below. One mirrors the other, but both just as blind. One blind by bias, and the other by the pain of rejection, discrimination, abuse, and isolation. So as I see the world going into isolation, as I see the world being told where they can go, where they can sit, and what can open and what must close, and who can make money and who can't, and who's essential and who's not. Welcome to Black America. As they turn the lights off on our dreams in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Are you awake yet? Bot or being. And now, as we crave some normalcy, as we crave our connections, we're willing to give up our humanness. We're willing to play with our DNA. We're willing to ingest anything and everything that someone has, hoping they have our best interest. As if you haven't seen from the top of this nation to the worst of our streets in this nation, that humanity has been slipping. It's been backsliding. Whether we talk about the household or the White House, we've been backsliding. We've been manipulated, we've been abused, we've been used by liars, posing as public figures, posing as public servants, posing as politicians, posing as professors, posing as pastors. And now, we even have people, the bots that walk amongst us, that promote the propaganda, that turn a blind eye to critical thinking, and individuals that have spent a lifetime studying natural, homeopathic, virologists and psychologists that are looking at this thing from different angles, and they're all being silenced. Some are going away. Some, in feverish effort to educate, wake us up, are putting out videos. But the bots are so busy watching the catastrophe and the chaos on our streets and the presidential match, where it's all scripted. Both sides go behind the curtain and count the money together. Both sides quantify the power that you're giving them, standing in line, mailing in your ballot, waiting to see if this state or that state comes forth with correct votes. You thought it was an election. It was a selection. It didn't need your input. But you can't see that. Because in this transhumanism agenda, inviting you into the gates of hell, read between the lines on that one. You've been manipulated. You think this game is real. You think you are the flesh and the bone that you see in the mirror. They have whittled you down to your lower self when that was the challenge for coming to this place we call Earth, we call home. But this is nothing more than the hotel. We're on a short trip. This is the vacation from what you and I truly are, which is energy and consciousness, part of a collective. So as you stand back 6 feet from me and your neighbor, understand that our hearts emit an electromagnetic field that intersects within a 6-foot space. So 6 feet distance isn't about a virus. It's about disconnecting your heart from my heart. It's about disconnecting our humanness, bot or being. I'm just being honest with you. This may be one of my last videos, so I'm putting everything I got into it. Many of you have already turned it off. But those that feel natural, they came here to be something, to serve a purpose. They understand that there's something more to this life than just going to school and sitting where you're told and getting a job and asking for vacation leave and trying to make enough money just to come home and eat and have enough gas to get back to work, to repeat the process. See, that doesn't sit well with beings. But the bots will sit around the coffee machine and they'll just complain about it and complain about it. And if there's nothing to complain about, they'll pick up the news and they'll complain about that. And if there's nothing else to complain about on the news, then they'll talk about somebody in the office. Beings off track. And now, as I conclude, I tell you I wish you well in the oncoming of the greatest mental depression that we've ever seen in our lifetime. Our elders survived the Great Depression, but they were cut from a different cloth. They ate more natural foods. They spent more time out in nature. They were more grounded. A handshake meant something. Character meant something. Flawed, yes, as in all of us, but they still had more substance, a little more backbone, a little less modern technology, taking away our humanness and our skills and our memory and our natural connections. So as we've improved, and as we've begun to lean more and more on our smartphones and AI and technological advancements, we've given up being us. So we're going to pay a price for that. I foresee many sad days ahead, suicidal days, anxiety-filled days, and depression-filled days. But it doesn't have to be that way. It requires you to become natural again and to resist the lure of logging on every 5 seconds to that social platform that is shown you in times such as these. 2020, did you get your vision right? Because you should have seen videos up and videos down. Share the wrong type of comment, make a suggestion, encourage people to be healthy, and it doesn't fall within the community guidelines. I hope I'm talking to you right now because you're still with me and I've been talking for a minute. Be sure to go out in nature. Be sure to drink some more water. Be sure to tell your friends and family, whether bot or being, how much you love them. Because everyone's not going to make it. Everyone's not going on to the 5th dimension. Some people are clinging to a phone like the monkey that reached into the jar to grab the banana, but with the banana in its hand, could not free its hand from the jar. And in desperation of not starving, the monkey starved because it failed to let go. All it had to do was let go. And bots cannot unplug from the matrix, from the show, from the fakeness. But beings know that that's not natural. They know that that's not natural. So I find ourselves at a fork in the road. Bots to the left, and beings to the right. Heaven or hell. The choice was always yours, Dorothy. You either got distracted or you stayed on the path. So, with that being said, I'll see you soon. Some of you. Something to think about. Johnnie Williams III. Signing off. Saying peace. 2 fingers together because there's too much dividing us. Until next time.